Hi team, good morning everyone. Can you hear me? Am I audible to all of you? Uh, just a minute, friends. I'm just facing little network issue. Just a minute. I'll just try to be. Today, do we have new teams? Not sure. I think same one only. Maybe I don't think it's a different one, but it's okay. And just give me a minute, friends. We'll start it. I don't need much time. Let me do one thing. Actually, 1 minute, friends. I'm back. I'll be back. I need to. I'm just updating few things. I'll share all these recordings today. So I was a little busy a couple of days. Yeah. Thank you, team. Sorry, there was a little slight network. This thing. I just said that. Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen and we can continue. So hope you are clear till what we discussed yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about this, what shall I say, constructors, and then we were talking about parameterized constructor. Sorry, default is done, right? And we had a, that was yesterday's session is something very useful session. So before I continue further, just please confirm if my screen is visible and then if I am audible clearly, so that please just confirm if my screen is visible and if I am audible. Okay, thanks for confirming. Yeah, so let's do it now. Parameterized. See, yesterday we did this default constructor and we had covered many underlying subtopics associated with this constructor and all different things that is needed to understand constructors. I believe now you can answer the multiple questions on constructors, and also there are a few important scenarios discussed which helps to answer some important interview questions as well in the yesterday's session. So Let's jump to the next topic, parameterized. See, we already know about methods. We had a very detailed coverage on methods. And we know we have two types, default and parameterized methods. Even constructors are nothing different from methods, except there are few parameters we should apply. That's all. What is that? It should have same name as class name, no return type, used to initialize instance variables of a class, and then automatically called. One important point is even though we say that the constructor, if you see this constructor is used to initialize instance variables, still see that is actually the standard we apply. But still you can add some print statements, you can apply some business logic in this, but that is not recommended one. So the recommended is to initialize instance variables. But if you ask me, so can I implement any logic in this constructor? Yes. Can I add any print statements inside this? Yes. You can do whatever you want inside this, but that is not recommended one. But it's like, even though it is used for initializing, you can use it for different purposes while doing quick testing, right? Just take another important point, right? So next one, parameterized means a constructor with the parameters. That's all, friends. Nothing more than that. Where is this? And then how to syntax of parameterized constructor here. What is syntax here? Simple. Let me just here is this. Yeah, here this is the syntax, friends. Access modifier, class name. Inside parentheses, you should put variables. Right? We had discussed this number of times. This is parameterized constructor. And we should initialize this instance variables of class with this parameters. That's what parameterized constructor is all about. Let me just show you quickly. So here, these are all instance variables. To initialize these four instance variables, I am choosing four parameterized, four parameters here. Right. So let's just take here string name. You see this time, my instance variables and my local variables are same. You see, I am declaring local variables inside this parenthesis. My instance variables and local variables are same. That is the standard we follow when we write code in a real programming. Got it, friends? So this is a standard one. Then you might ask a question. If both are same, will it is it a confusion to a developer, right? Means no, actually developer don't get confused because developer is clear like what he is doing with all this. Okay, so now this is what this is what we are declaring. Now looking at this, there might be a slight confusion here. What is that? Our instance variables and local variables are same, but still we had already discussed this scenario with methods. In this case, when both are same, to differentiate instance variables from local variables, we should apply this keyword with the instance variables. So what should we do, friends? Apply this keyword. This dot name equal to name. And this dot color equal to color. When I say color like this, now there is an ambiguity. What is that? When you say color equal to color, then at line 14, there is an ambiguity. Maybe ambiguity means confusion, which is instance, which is local. Now it is difficult to find out. But if you add this keyword with this dot something, then no ambiguity. Again, when you apply this with instance variable, then we don't have any ambiguity. We are quite fine. Right. Next one. This dot price equal to what shall we say? Price. No ambiguity in this case. And this is the standard way you should initialize instance variables with the local variables. Both instance variables and local variables must be same. And this is what people follow in a real coding. Is this clear, friends? And the other thing is same. So display is same. You don't need to change this. And also There is a slight difference between the way we call default constructor and parameterized constructor. This is actually quick question for all of you. Please answer in the comments. Please comment in the chat box. This is a call to which constructor? This is a constructor calling, no doubt about it. But this is a constructor call to what kind of constructor? Default constructor or parameterized? So this is a calling to, no doubt. Looking at this declaration, you can easily understand. This is a call to default constructor. What is this, friends? A call to default, right? Now, again a question. Then you might ask a question. Then how do we call parameterized constructor, Manoram? Then the answer is simple, right? If it is parameterized constructor or parameterized method, then call such methods by passing these values to this parameters. There are four parameters. Pass four values through this constructor calling. How many values should I pass? Four values. First one is name. Here, come to this parenthesis. In this parenthesis, first one is name. Choose your car of your choice. Free only, right? This is a free thing. So I choose Benz. If I am paying money, then I choose some other car at my budget. Okay. Next one. Color. Color. Black should be fine for bench. And then string, I mean type of car, some E class or D class, we see in some outside, right? So I put E. And price, give some price some. So all this is just imagination, right? You can give how much ever price you want, right? No issues. So this is your car object. See how beautiful this is. We create, see, with this object is exclusively creating one object and we are setting values to that object. Now we build one object for car and this gives you one car details. How many car details? One car details, friends. Suppose if you want one more car, create one more car object. Then you give one more car details, something like car, car one. Class name should change, but this reference should be different. Now this means again this time what we choose, anything of your choice. So BMW. Okay. And then this is something like choose anything of your choice, something like white should be fine. And then some C category. Some just take some 2 crores or something, whatever the price it might. So this is another scenario. Then you are calling display on first object C dot display. Suppose if you want print values of second object, you should say C2 dot display. You see this, right? In this way, the advantage of having objects, understand this concept carefully, friends. You might do this with the default constructor, parameterized constructor, but the advantage of OOP is this. You can construct objects like this and you can set data to each object. So this helps you. It's more like what is that? You are setting data. Is that clear to you, friends? What is the advantage with objects is object is a way of setting data or values in a program. Right. Suppose in a real code, how it works is, let me tell you this OOP, how this concept of OOP works is, suppose you are implementing a bank application, friends. In that bank application, right, there might be customers, there might be bank accounts, there might be many things. But before that, these objects must be created. Even doing transactions, all that is a business logic. But before that, what is that? You create a table in databases. Each table, each row in database will become one object at your program level. Right? What you do, you read one row of data from database and copy to one object at your program level. Similarly, you read one more row in the database and you map it to another object in the at OOP level. So there is actually what happens with OOP is object relational mapping is there. ORM tools are there like Hibernate or something. what people do in a real programming is they map these objects to the database so that what happens, all these attributes in your class becomes columns in the database, and these columns are mapped to columns in the data. With this instance variables in the class are mapped to columns in the database. And for that, they use some mapping tools called ORM tools, object relational mapping. Understand this carefully, friends. This is just only a quick idea. Even if you don't forget this also, it's fine. I'm just giving you a deeper introspection like how this OOP is useful for us and exact purpose of objects. Because these objects are very important for us. That's why. And even these constructors, what they are doing, they are setting data. But this data, what we set here, we write it to databases. How? Through some ORM tools. Now here, one object you created will become one row in database. Is this clear? Suppose now you have created one object for car, one bench and black and E and some price. This becomes a row in database. Again, second one, BMW white and C and something will become another row. Suppose you create one more object, that becomes one more row. Means what do you understand, friends? Every object you create at program level will become one row in the table of a database. Then what happens at database side? This class here like car1 becomes a table in the database. Understand these things carefully, friends. This is lot of positive. I mean, this is very useful information. Understood, right? This class name you are seeing here, if you really get into this real-time programming, it becomes a table at database level. And these columns, instance variables become columns in the database. And each object you create at program level will become one row in the database. See, this is how the real program works. If you are asking with some curious questions, so we are seeing programming and we are setting data to these objects. All this is fine. How we are going to utilize this in a real code means now you understand, right? This data which you set here is copied to database and it is stored as one row in the database. You got it? Usually again, these values what you are coming here, you are creating a parameterized constructor, right? I am going little deeper. I know, but I am not confusing because I am clearly emphasizing on each and every statement very clearly. So you don't get confused. These parameters, you set it through this parameter constructor calling. But in a real code, what happens is, if you ask me, in a real environment, how do we set values to this constructor call? This doesn't come directly. So, for example, you are dealing with a car application. How this works? I am just giving a much more deeper idea. Suppose, let me just show you. I don't. Please tell me if you are able to see the screen or not. Okay. I'm just look. Let me use paint. That is the best thing. I'm giving you a broader picture for you. Why these classes are important, why these objects are important, how these objects are mapped to databases, how this will be written to the databases, how exactly application is built with OOP concepts. So this is covering so much of information for you. You see, in a real environment, application look like this. You create. Don't worry about the beautiness of your this thing paint. Okay, I'm just giving you a quick idea. See, you have gone to a car website. Now you are booking a car, and for that car they take some details from you. What is that car name? Don't worry about beautiness. Just only understand the concept and car color and then car price and then all many more details. You leave about all that because with this small space we cannot fill in all that. I am just only doing adding few boxes. Okay, car name, car color or car type. Okay, and then one more last is car price. Okay, assume that this is a car form. Now at the back end, this is actually a you went to your car website and then you have this login update form for car. Okay, this is car website. This is a login. I mean car information or something. You are booking a what shall we say, uh, a car from this website. Now what happens here? Now once this form comes, assume that update information. This is car update which you provide to book a car. Now You provide name, you provide color, you provide type, and you provide price in the form. Now in the back end, what developers, this is front end. Okay, in the back end, they implement some code, and that code is written in OOP. Now this name you are passing, understand how this works. This name you are passing from the front end is is assigned to this variable. You can see here, right? In your code, this name is there, right? That is set here. First, they read values from this form, and then what they do, they assign this name value in the form to the name here in the code. This name value here, right? They assign to name here. Okay, name they assign to the name. That is one thing. And here this color value is assigned to color at programming side. For that they use some kind of again mapping. So we don't need to worry too much about it because it becomes too deeper for us, not needed much. Type, they whatever you pass from the form is set to name, is set to name, color is set to color, type is set to type, and this one is what is this? Price is set to price. Right? First, initially, what they do, they don't pass to the object directly. First, they take some local variable, something like name equal to something. They get that data, something like get name, something. They apply some method like this. Okay, again, some color equal to some get color, something like this. I'm just giving you a rough idea. I'm not giving you very, this thing. And then type equal to get type. So, and similarly, and finally, one more is price equal to get price. They apply some methods like this, and they read those values from the form and set it in as local variables at your in your application. Now these values you set to the object here. Like suppose I create one more just to show you. Third object I am creating. Third object you are reading from the form. So here what they do, whatever the value you read from this one. Here this is a local variable string name. And this is local. Local means declared inside a method. Okay. And string type and then string price, all this. Right? Leave about get name, get color, all that. You don't need to care about it for now. So you understand. I'll just quickly tell you about a concept called setters and getters. You understand that. Now you can see whatever we pass from form at the back end, what they do is they read these values and then set to some local variables. And those local variables you pass as parameters to the object. Of course, to accept those values, there will be a parameterized constructor here. Of course, concept is a constructor only. But what they do, they set it to the, excuse me, friends, object. So name and color is passed here, and then type is passed here, and then last one, price is passed here. Okay, this is how a real code works. You understand? I'm just giving you a flow of how objects are used now. Focus is on two things. How constructor is initialized, parameterized constructor. Two, the, the purpose of objects, the use of objects. You got it, right? The utilization of objects. I'm speaking about it. The importance of objects in OOP, object oriented programming. One thing you should understand here, objects hold data. See, many people don't understand this. See, this is missing from many learners. I mean, from many testing, testing resources or development resources. What is the important thing you should understand is object is something which holds data at program side temporarily. But one object can hold only one entity details, one person, one car, or one something. But if you want to store 100 objects, 100 car details, you need 100 objects. 1000 car details, 1000 objects. 1 lakh car details, 1 lakh objects. 1 crore object details, 1 crore objects are needed. Maybe you can ask me a question. Manoram, can we create 1 crore objects in a real application? Sometimes you create 10 crore objects, I'll say, or 100 crore objects, I'll say. You get this point? You might think, this seems little, what is that? this thing for us, right? Surface for us. But in a real application, we need to create n number of objects depends on our application demand. Suppose right, in a bank application, you just think about it. How many accounts need to be created? At least thousands or lakhs of objects has to be created each day. Understood, friends? And that will be done here. And in a real programming, crores of objects will be created when you are doing this all these different kinds of transactions, everything. Is this clear, friends? Here, my only focus is making you to understand the importance of objects, why we are setting data here to objects through these parameterized methods. How this parameterized constructors is helpful for us. When we set data, we read some data from a form and copy that data to the code level. And from code level, we set those parameters values to this constructor calls. And when you set these values to constructor calls, what happens? Those are set to object. And these objects with data are mapped to database. And this is from here that is written to the database. This is how the data carry from your front end to back end in a real application through objects. Means finally, what is the understanding we have now? Objects are nothing but they are like data carriers. What is it, friends? See how broader this concept is. What are objects here? These are actually data carriers from one layer to another layer in your real-time application. If you want to transport data across multiple layers in a real application, then these objects are very important for us. I hope this is clear for all of you, friends. Is this clear? I'm giving you the actual purpose of the objects thing here. Understood? Finally, my focus point here is one, what is parameterized constructor? How do we set data? We set it, we didn't run this, I am going to run. And at the same time, I just want my learners to understand why objects, why we are creating objects, right? What exactly the purpose of, because without understanding this background, we are just having a high level idea, that's all. But when if you want to have a broader idea, a deeper idea, you should have this understanding. What is that? The purpose. When you know the purpose, you can map that scenario with your mind. Your mind will be questioning us. Why these objects we are creating this? You might understand concept. Again, there is a question from the mind. What is that? Why do we need objects? How these objects are used in a real application? That is what I just gave you with a deeper introspection on this. I hope this is clear. Right. So let's run this code now. Is this clear how to call parameterized constructor now? How to set data to parameterized constructor of a class through constructor calling. Whenever if a method is parameterized, if a constructor is parameterized, simply while calling that, this is actually constructor call. Constructor call is with object, method call is with we call methods on references. Let it be a default method or parameterized. Default method or parameterized. Okay. So constructor, default constructor or parameterized, whatever it is. If it is parameterized, you should set values at the call. This is constructor call. So we are setting values with your constructor call. Is this clear now? Now let's run this. Now what happens? Two objects are created in memory. Maybe if you want debug it and see at the right side window, maybe let's debug. This is more interesting actually. You can see what's happening at memory level. See, when you just run program, you only understand what your program, what the output your program providing. When you debug, what happens is you understand what's happening at memory level at each line of program. Now, we just started with main method. All of us know this. Execution starts with main always, and this is a static method called with class name directly. Right? Step 2, point 1. Then the execution starts with first line. When you say step over or step, this is a constructor call, right? So you should say step into, because we know we have already a constructor in the class, so you can apply this step into now. If you don't declare constructor, then you can simply say step over. Now when we say step into, now you can see friends, what happened here. So here one object is created. See, this is the object. And for now, they are set to defaults because still this constructor is not executed completely. Now we just made a call to the constructor. You can see here the object, this statement 35 gets executed. And when we say step into, the control jumped from where? From this line 35 to line 12. Why? This constructor call has a mapping in the class to this constructor. Is this clear? Now, also observe carefully at memory level. See, the beautiness happening at memory level. So what is happening when this constructor call is happening? The control jumps from line 35 to line 12, right, friends? At the same time, you see this control is carrying this data from the constructor call from line 35 to line 12 here. You see at the right side of the window, all that local variables here are initialized to this values we passed. So you can see here, these are our local variables. Now name is set to name. You can see here, name is set to bench, color is set to black, type is set to E, price is set to one some that some price which with scientific notation. Okay, these are what maybe don't get confused. All variables under this is instance variables, and under this object, these are local variables which are declared here with the constructor. Don't get confused. This is what happening at memory level. All these variables are created. See here now. First at memory level, this is variable window. Now you can understand both instance variables got created, but they are set to defaults now because execution of constructor is not completed yet. So, and then local variables are set to, when that call happened, a control jump happened from this constructor call to this constructor. While this jump is happening, these values in the call are copied to these local variables. Here the first parameter is copied to the first parameter here. The second value is copied to second parameter. The third value is copied to third parameter. The fourth value is copied to the fourth parameter. Now what happens? Now let's do again debugging. Now you come to this line. When this line is executed, this value from this local variable is set to this instance variable. Let's see that. Excuse me. So now I am at line 13. When this line 13 jumps to line 14, you see a change in the value here to name here. Name is set to what? Bench. Let's do that now. Come on. So you can see it got modified to bench or not. Again, when line 14 jumps to line 15 means once that execution is done, then color is set to black. Let's do it. Let's see that. Sorry, sir. I think just we'll do one thing. I just 1 minute. We'll run this again. Debug as it's a beautiful flow. We missed it, but I'll bring it to the same level. No issues. So then step into, and then now we did. See again when I say step into, it has gone to the object. No need of that. So step over. You should understand how to debug also. So where you should apply step over, where you should apply step into. Now what happened? When line 13 is done, we are at line 14. Now when line 14 is executed, you can see here friends, color is set to black. When it moves to line 16, when line 15 is executed, type here gets modified to E. Let's do that. Step over again. Okay. And then again, this price, execute that, then price will be modified here. Now, what happened? One object is created and those values are set to set, and that object is set with these values which we are passing through constructor call. Is that this is clear, right? Now execution of constructor is over. When I say step over, the control come back to main again. Now you can see the control is back to calling method. Calling method means main is the calling and this one is called method. Okay. And here, this is method call. Understand these terminologies. Got it, friends? Next, after that, we have to go to next statement in the main. Should I say step into or step over? What is your comment, friends? Should I say step into or step over? Just please comment in the chat box. So this is all. This helps you to get a bigger picture about this all this process. So what shall I do? Step into or step over now? So you can see here step over now because we don't have any method call. Now again you can see, friends. Now you can see what happened when I say step over. Already this is existing object. Observe this. This is C object. You can see C here object is set. Now you can see one more beautiness here. Right? Now we are here. Now should I say step into? This is a constructor call and we know there is a constructor present in the class, and if you see a method or a constructor present in a class and you are at method call, when you are debugging, choose step into in that case. Otherwise, if you just say step over, it doesn't enter into the method and you miss the execution flow. So I'm clearly saying this very slowly. Now question, in this at this line, should I say step into or step over, friends? Please comment in the chat box. What should we do? I know I'm taking time just to benefit to make you get a bigger picture, friends. That's all. I'm not just wasting time, but these things are very useful to you. Tomorrow, when you really work on some application, definitely all this is going to help you, right? Especially the testing side, the Selenium testing. Most of the testers, they do testing without understanding all this background. That is my what is that my concern. You got it, friends? So at least learners who are with me, I don't want you to have that issue. Got it now? So this is clear, right? So what happens now? Please answer, comment in the chat box. At this line, should I say step into or step over? Answer, please. Can you please comment in the chat box, friends? Step into or step over? If it is wrong, okay, it's fine. Let it be. So we are not judging anyone here. Come on. So here at this line, because I want, why I am asking questions is you should be familiar with this flow to debug this. We should choose step into because this is what, friends, this is a constructor call choose step into. Now again one more object gets created here. You can see here again, this is second object, not first object. Now this new object, again you can see all the default values, and then what, and local variables, one copy of local variables are also created under below that object. This object that is in where this object usually objects exist in heap. There is a separate memory area for objects, and the place where these objects are created is called as a heap, HEAP heap. Got it, friends? And these local variables exist in inside stack. Where this exists inside stack. I'll just draw a small diagram and show you all this execution flow in one session. Okay, but a quick idea, quick information. All objects are created in a memory area called as a heap. And all these local variables which you declare inside method or declared as parameters, these are variables temporarily created in a stack. Where friends, in a stack. Now that is fine. Let's do, what shall I choose now? Should I choose step into or step over, friends? Answer, please comment in the chat box. For a few minutes, let's have quick questions and quick answers also. Somebody is asking a question, what is that ID? These IDs are nothing but some identity given to the values internally in the stack by your JVM. Some unique identity given internally by your JVM, friends, to identify these values. Is that clear? So I think Sunita is asking. I think you should be clear, Sunita. So this generally either
Eclipse is developed in such a way they are showing this with with some identities. Okay, the purpose of identities we know, right, friends? They are used to identify your values are these variables in memory. So that is why we need this, friends. Even object has an identity. You can see here. Why? Because these IDs helps internally to identify this object or to identify these local variables at memory level. I think I answered this clearly without confusing. Right, right, friends. So now, what shall we do now? Should I use step into or step over? So here we should apply step over. Again, we see here one object is created. We set data. Now second object is created. It's like you have one cup. You put tea into that over. You put it aside. Now you are creating. You created second cup, and then you are pouring tea into it now. So again, step over. You can see when I say step over, observe right side. All these values which is copied to local variables are right, which are copied to local variables. Now if you see again, one more information for you. After this constructor call or method call jump is done. Jump is means when you say step over, the control jumps from this call to this method, right? So when that jump that happens, all the values are copied. If you want to see that, you don't need to do anything. Put your cursor on that. You can see here this color is holding white. This type is holding C. This price is holding price. You can see here some 2 crores or something. So in this way, you can also understand that while control jumps from a method call to a method, the values from method call are copied to these parameters. And if you want to see these tools, these sophisticated tools like Eclipse or PyCharm or anything, we can view those values and how the process is happening, right, at memory level. Understood now? So again, continue. Now we executed line 13, execute line 14, line 15, line 16. And finally, the execution of this constructor is done. And we are at the line 18, about to jump from this constructor, about to return back from the constructor, because closing braces indicates end of the constructor. So the control is again return back to what is that, friends? This one. Now again, step over. So now it is calling display. Anyhow, when we call display, what happens? Now you see, after executing these two statements at line 35 and line 36, at memory level, you can observe here. You can observe here, friends. So two objects are created. One is C object, another is C2 object. When I say C and C2, just for recognizing them, I am saying C object and C2. Object means what? Something at the right side of assignment. These are just references, and you can see two references. One is C, the other one is C2, and also at the same time, first object is set to all these values, second object is set to all these values. Right? This is a clear picture for us. When object is created, so they are, what happens here when that line 35 executed, object is created in heap, and those instance variables are set with this values we are passing with constructor call. And C2 object also same thing happens for C2 as well, friends. So clear now? So when you say C dot display, values from this object are printed. Now you can understand this flow very clearly. So which values are printed from C object? What is that black bench and 1 crore or 10 crores that is printed, and that E class. Now run this. Similarly, when we call, let's run that step over. You can see values here at the bottom. Excuse me, friends. Again, step over. Now what happens? Another set is printed from C2 object. You can see that here. And finally, finally the journey of main is about to finish or complete. Now, when you say step over, control is returned back to JVM and program got terminated. So we done, and our debugging is completed successfully. And this
dot class file of the T1 will be unloaded from memory and it is given for garbage collection if we have any objects for T1. Okay. I hope this is clear for all of you friends. This is how we should understand what is this friends about the execution flow of each step of your program by doing debugging. Here my focus today is to make you understand constructor parameterized and how to declare that constructor and how to set instance variables and local variables, how to differentiate instance from local. What is the quick question here friends? Please answer in the comments. Please comment in the chat box. What is the keyword used to differentiate instance variables from local variables? Please comment in the chat box, friends. What keyword is that? What keyword is that, friends? This. How about others? Are you clear with this, friends? Use this keyword. Okay, and then next one. So, what else we have understood today? Again, the importance of objects. So, how many objects can we create for a class? Another quick question. Please comment in the chat box. So how many objects can we create for a class? We have just two objects here, but in a real environment, how many objects we can create for a class? Please answer, comment in the chat box. N number of objects, perfect answer. Super, perfect. There is no limit to create objects in a real environment, okay? So generally, another quick question. Generally, objects are used to answer. Objects are used for answer, please. Please comment in the chat box. Give whatever the right answer, wrong answer, mixed answer, whatever it is. Please answer, friends. Your involvement gives me more energy. Objects are used for. Objects are used for what, friends? So after all this discussion, you should be very clear. Why do we need objects? Objects are used for hold data. Very nice answer. They are used to hold and carry data. Excellent answer. So objects are used to hold and carry data. They are like it's like mini data carriers, pocket carriers, simply speaking. Okay. So that's about this one, friends. Now, shall we jump to next topic today? Yeah, yes, perfectly correct. Now let's jump to the next topic. After finishing all this, discussing all this, now I would like to jump to a concept of inheritance. Access modifiers we are done. Now we need to talk about inheritance. Yes. Garbage happens multiple times in one run of program. That is Shankar's question. It depends on JVM again, Shankar. So usually, let me tell you the flow, how garbage collection happens. Once you execution of program is completed, how many other objects are created as a part of that program? They are eligible for garbage collection. And if you ask me a precise question, right, how this garbage collection happens, when this garbage collection happens, if you are asking this question, I don't have answer. Why? It depends on JVM. Even Java people also told that we don't know. It is JVM who decides when this garbage collection happens. Right. I think this question is clear for you. So who decides that? JVM decides when this garbage collection happens. But the point is, at what point JVM is eligible for garbage collection means. So here now, if you see in this program, the execution is completed and these two objects are eligible for garbage collection. And maybe if you ask me a question, when this gets collected means I don't have answer. It's the JVM's call. JVM will call whenever JVM will do that whenever it wants to do. Maybe JVM thinks that it needs some free memory. It go and immediately recycles those objects from memory. Recycles means remove them. and free the memory. So that's what JVM does. And it's the JVM's call. JVMs decide when these objects should be removed or recycled from memory. Got it right? And again, another question, like how does happens multiple times in one run of program? Might be. But I believe it doesn't happen for multiple times. It depends on what again? It depends on the need for memory. So JVM, what it does is once the execution of program is completed, your JVM might call for a garbage collection, and that garbage collection might happen once for this lifetime of this application, I believe. Got it right? So that is a quick idea, Shankar. Understood? Am I able to answer your question clearly? Right. Okay. I think we can start inheritance tomorrow because we are almost 9 today. Shall we take up inheritance tomorrow? We'll finish this tomorrow and then maybe we'll try to close inheritance if possible, polymorphism tomorrow. This week we'll complete this Java thing and then next week onwards again switch back to Selenium. Now we are going to create many Selenium objects and you are going to see all that flow again. First we should do the setup for that. We'll see that. All the jars thing, all that we'll see step by step. But are you good now? Hope you are clear with this. We'll stop here, friends. I think all of you and me, you are. Any questions now? Because you have to again get ready for your offices. Even I should get ready for my office. So if you have any questions, I'll just answer. Or if you are clear, no issues. We'll catch up tomorrow, friends. Have a good day. See you.